I hope you guys enjoyed the clickbaity thumbnail and title. So today we'll be going over 3 of Elmo's games. Elmo is Legend in Republic and Empire and Master in Alien and Beast. They've been mostly playing Beast lately. They've actually been doing fairly good. It looks like they have around a 75% win rate, at least recently. So they've been climbing fairly quickly. However, there are some losses, and I went over them. And I did see some surprisingly, I don't know, maybe basic mistakes. Not a lot of them. Definitely not nearly as many as other people that I've been doing this series for. But they do exist. So we'll be going over them. It's going to be purely beast-based gameplay, and I believe all of the losses were over going against Alien, which a lot of players do have trouble, especially with Beast, when playing Beast, especially against Alien. So we'll be going over some of the things that I saw. So right off the bat, I'm going to say I don't really like using Faceless Saint past 1300 because there's so many easy ways to deal with it. And it's so expensive, it always ends up in a soul deficit. You always end up losing soul over it whenever you use it. So they played a Broodworm, which is going to deal constant AoE damage, and a Faceless Altar is played. Why this is a bad idea is because you're going to summon 2 little hands, and the Broodworm is going to send an explosive. It's going to hit the hands, then the Tubby is going to finish off the hands, and it's not going to work out. And the Broodworm costs 4, the Faceless Altar costs 6, so you're just losing soul. Honestly, Broodworm is a counter to Faceless Altar, in my opinion. And this miracle is extremely low value. You're not getting a lot out of this. Even if it worked, right, you're still not going to get as much healing out of it as you would like. Because miracle costs 3. I want to say it costs 3 soul. It costs 3 soul, right? So now you spent 9 soul and you don't really have anything to show for it. The Broodworm's gone. You have your last 4 hands left. And they got a Prime Venomite, and they still have 2 Twisted Vines up. Looks like 1 Twisted Vine will die, however. Okay, both the Twisted Vines have died. So you got rid, for 9 mana, you got rid of a Broodworm for 4, or really, you didn't let it do any damage to your Guardian. And you got rid of Twisted Vines for 3, so that's 7 soul that the enemy used compared to the 9 soul you used for that combo. These Wormlings aren't going to, there's no way these Wormlings were going to do anything. I would have let them walk up, the Prime Venomite and Tybes walk up, and then play the Faceless Saint right where you played it there. I think that would have been fine. Playing these was good because it gets the Xenoclaw for your Guardian, so that was fine. This Tadakatsu is just bad luck. That's all I have to say about it. It was a 50-50 shot to go for that or the Weezes, and it went for your Faceless Saint. So you don't have to respond to the Terminites. Okay, yeah, so you play Dynafrog. You didn't have to play that because you had a Wormling and a Tubby left, and there were 6 Terminites. The Guardian's going to kill the 6 Terminites before they get through the Tubby and the Wormling. That's fine. That's a fine response to that. That's good enough. I think the Catapod's going to hit it, so you wanted to play that a little bit more up so it hits the Catapod, because, yeah, the Catapod was hitting the Guardian through the Helena. This Stormstellar is kind of bad, so what I would have done if I was going to play a Stormstellar was actually play it on the left side so it can support the push. Because you don't have any AoE damage going on the left side. So that would be a source of AoE if they play something like Terminites. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do chip damage, but I don't think Stormstellar is good for chip damage. I think it's better as more lane pressure, or more pressure during a push. Yeah, so doing something like this might be fine for Faceless Altar, even if it's a little cheesy, but I don't think this is really gonna give you any results with Stormstellars. Yeah, I definitely want to play double Storm Cellar. Um, Also, okay, so when you played these Phoenixites, you had 5 soul. You played them, now you have 1 soul left. You have one Storm Cellar that's dead, one Storm Cellar is going to give one more ghost, and you have these 2 Phoenixites running down the ends of the lanes. Essentially, your Phoenixites are alone. Now you played these Wormlings, right? Or I think you had 6 soul units. So now you played these Wormlings. The Phoenixites are going to be mostly dead by the time your Wormlings get to the enemy Guardian, so it'll just be Wormlings by themselves. You want to use your soul to play cards in ways that complement each other. You're playing cards to try to assist cards. You're playing units to assist units that aren't going to exist by the time they get there, and you need to learn to cut your losses essentially during a push or something, and just let it die and rebuild your soul. You know, he has 7 soul, right? He's gonna play this. It's gonna be a beautiful counter. And he's gonna have 2 legendaries on the field, and you're going to have nothing. While you both still have the same amount of soul. You both have the same amount of soul right now. You got 2 units on the field. Now you got 3 legendaries on the field. At this point, I think you're just at too much of a soul deficit to really do anything. I don't think you can save this. Yeah. Probably gonna mind control or marionette puppeteer, whatever it's called, and choke you up. Yeah. It didn't really matter. You're at such a deficit. I don't think you're gonna win. You're at you're 5 soul behind, I think, on the field. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Oh, come on. There we go. It's a little touchy. All right. All right, they played a Broodworm again. Okay, and he played Faces Altered. So, this is really bad, especially against Alien. All right, so they played a Broodworm, right? Your Faces hands are going to get super low. If they play like a Terminite Queen or something, they're just going to have infinite Terminites. It's just, it's going to get countered so easily. I guess these Wormlings will help it a bit. It's kind of weird looking at the top. Yeah, he played the Terminites. Okay, he played a Stench, but no, okay, looks like the Terminite Queen's getting hit by the Stench. Well, I have Metabots, that's weird. Alright, I guess everything else so far has been alright. You could have played the Stench a little bit further back, I think. I think you still would have hit the other units. This is rough to watch. Normally, same level Faceless Altar will beat a Terminite Queen, but when it has help from other things like this... Okay, this is terrible. Oh, you scared me with those lemons. Alright. This is all fine. You did suffer... Well, yeah. You're not too far behind right now. So... Okay, oh, you can't... Alright, you can't use the healing when there's Terminites, because the Terminites, literally, they negate healing. That's their whole thing. They swarm, they deal damage to the swarm, and they stop healing. So don't use it. So don't use healing against Terminites. So this push was kind of over. I don't know about using Summon there. It is true that Summon won't proc the Sense from Leon, but what's a 2 Dynafrogs gonna do? Or even if you pulled something better, I don't think the Dynafrog doesn't do a lot of damage to Guardian, so I think I would have just cut the losses there. I think you could have played the Mad Axis further back, so they would be behind the Phoenixites. It's working out pretty well right now, though. Now would be a decent time to summon, in my opinion. Yeah, I would have summoned on the other side. Well, maybe not. Okay, again, you don't want to heal when they got Terminites. Now there's a lot of termites. Okay, yeah, using that defensively. That's good. That's good. He tried to stun this building. I don't think that works. Yeah. Alright, you can block these. Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, you just didn't have enough soul to properly deal with it. And you have a lot of high-cost cards. It seems like your deck's kind of heavier. I would say I'd be willing to bet. Let's see. Actually, I think I can take a look at it right now. All right. 3.7. Okay. Never 3.7. Oh, it looks like you've changed it up. All right. It looks like you added a salamander and took out a faceless saint. I wouldn't use rabbit. I just wouldn't use rabbit. You have one stench. Oof, no. One miracle. That's fine. Two storm cellar. Okay. I don't know if I would use storm cellar if you're using faceless altar. I would actually use two faceless altars and no storm cellars. One ballista, I guess, is fine. I would take out the face of Saint, take out the Rabid, put in a couple of stenches. Let's see with this deck. Yeah, you definitely want that. So if you take out both Storm Cellars and put in one more Faceless Altar, you'll have room for another card. I would maybe take out the Miracle as well. Miracle can be good if you're seeing results with it. Then go ahead and keep it. But it looks like you haven't been. But I'm not watching your winning games. I'm only watching your losing games. So if you've been doing good with Miracle, then go ahead and keep it. But otherwise, I'll take that out and put in a couple Horned Chickens. And you won't need the Storm Cellar then. Yeah, otherwise, this looks fine. I would consider maybe using Hellbillies. They can be a lot of damage, and they're a nice backline unit, which Beast kind of lacks backline units, in my opinion. So yeah, 3.7 is real bad. You don't. I would say never go above 3.5. I'd say 3.5 is a good max. All right, let's see the next final game. There's too many numbers. All right. Oh, they're Tubby, and they're in the Tubby clan. Interesting. Oh, early Painlings. Just block them. It'll be good. Oh, you didn't block them. You got to pay attention during the early game. Especially against Republic, too, because an early sniper can do a lot of damage. This person has quite a few levels on you. So be careful about that. Yeah, that's fine to defend. They're gonna kill this Tubby, too. Okay, nice. The Twisted Vine targeting was a little unfortunate, but I think it's still going to work out just fine. Oh, no, you could have ignored that Twisted Vine. So when you played these Wheezes, you had 5 soul, right? So now you have 2 soul, and you got a Dynafrog that's going to be going down one lane, one side of the field, and you got 3 Wheezes that's going to be going down the other side of the lane. I would have just let that Twisted Vine go up, get killed by the Guardian, and maybe the Dynafrog, and then just let the Dynafrog die. Yeah, and again, so yeah, you're not letting go of the push. You have to. It's not a push, right? There's not enough. You're not going to get anything out of playing anything more. There's no way to properly support the units that are already going down. You just got to let them die and rebuild up your soul, so that way when they push, especially as aliens, so when they push, oh, they did not need to waste that exhaust. Well, anyways, so that way when they push as alien with their very strong pushes, you'll have enough soul to defend yourself, or if that doesn't happen and they don't attack or whatever, you'll have enough soul to start a proper push. You could have... I guess that's fine. You could play them a little bit earlier, but that's fine. I think you might have just been taking time to properly space them out. So don't play anything. just let them die and build up your soul. So I would wait a little bit after 10, and then play your Face of Saint in the back behind your Guardian. Well, this is not a terrible choice. Oh, that was a terrible, terrible puppeteer. I would play the Dino Frog here. Yeah, I would have played that earlier. Could have saved all of your Wormling's health. So here you don't have to play anything. Yeah, no, you play these Mad Axes. The Wormlings are going to die by the time the Mad Axes get up. The Dino Frog's not going to tank for you. Okay, thankfully they sent way too much soul defending. So now you ended up even. You got lucky here. This was a mistake on their part. They could have dealt with that much cheaper. You will have to play something against these. Yeah, I would have played it a bit more back again because the passive of the AOE damage from the Face of Saint would have killed the Termites anyways. You didn't need it to take the damage too. It would have killed them before they got up there. All right, so there's Storm Cellar. I'm going to recommend you remove Storm Cellar from your deck because it doesn't seem like you're maximizing the value of them. Or maybe you could just try to think more about using them. I used them for a while. I think they're a good card. But especially if you're going to be using Faceless Altar, which I would recommend because Faceless Altar is a very good card. I don't know if I'd also recommend using Storm Cellar. Also, Storm Cellar's thing is it's AoE, it's like lane pressure, right? So it puts pressure on the field because it's constantly popping out this AoE damage. So if you play something like a tank, right, and it's going down the field, and you got all this constant AoE damage coming up from behind it, it makes it harder to deal with like the tank or whatever unit is there with Swarm. So it makes it harder to deal with the card. So you could have played this behind it if you were going to play it behind the Face of Saint, like maybe in the middle, a little bit to the left, right? Playing it there, it's just going to do some chip damage, which isn't what you need right now. You just need a strong push. I would have rather just played units, like played some Mad Axes behind the Face of Saint instead, which what they would have dealt with they would have dealt enough damage to that Prime Venomite, not Venomite, Prime Leecher. Now you're just kind of behind on Soul. These are going to get taken care of fairly quickly. Yeah. All right, so here those Mad Axes playing in the center, right? They're not going to kill the Prime Leecher, right? So they're going to start hitting the Prime Leecher. The Prime Leecher is going to take a little bit of damage from them, but it's going to heal most of it back up. And the Leon's just going to whack at them until they die. And they even play these Termites here. What you could have done here is waited for them to get closer. And then played the Helena to slow their attack speeds. Because Helena's not going to take any damage from these, right? And then, yeah, and then it would have slowed them. And then when you have enough soul, you could have played the Mad Axes behind the Helena. So they could have dealt their full damage. So overall, let's see. Overall, the deck doesn't seem awful. It's just heavy. And I don't think you're getting a lot of use out of the summon cards, at least against Alien. Like I said, maybe against in the matches you're winning, maybe you're getting a lot of value over it. So, again, I'm only seeing these 3 matches. So if you do think that that summon is a very useful card to you and is contributing to your wins, feel free to keep it. If you're having issues against Swarms, it seems like you're having a little bit. I would recommend Horned Chicken. They are great units. They're super cheap, and they deal a lot of damage. You don't seem to be using 3 copies of Stench in any of these matches, and you currently only have 1. I highly recommend using 3 copies of Stench. Stench kills Grenadiers, Terminite Queens, Hot Shots, every unit that can give you trouble when they're played behind the enemy Guardian when they're defending. Other than that, it seems like you, for the most part, are climbing fairly well on your own with your 75% win rate, at least recently. So I would say if you keep these things in mind that I've been saying and you just play a bit more, I think you would hit Legend. I think you could hit Legend with Beast before the end of the season. Yeah, a little bit of tweaking to your deck. And just a little bit, just a subtle gameplay changes. Stop playing Faceless Altar into a Broodworm. You're not going to get enough value out of the Faceless Altar when you're doing that. I think there's better ways to deal with a Broodworm. So if you follow those things, like I say, I think you'll climb the ranks very quickly. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, seeing some higher level gameplay. That's not my own, and seeing how even us legends have weaknesses. All right, so this is going to be the end of the coaching video for today. Hopefully soon. I don't know if I want to make a video on the changes to Season 3 after Season 3 starts, so that way we actually see the units in game. the new units in game, and we can see the new store stuff, because I know a few of you at least are interested in what they have in the store. So we can go through and see that. So I think right on 10/27 is when I'll make the season 3 changes, the non-balance changes video. So until then, it'll just be more coaching. It'll be more climbing. Yeah, that's how it'll be until season 3. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you will know when I post all of my future videos. And until then, best of luck climbing.